Watch me cook dinner while breaking down just how awful Trump's budget bill is. Over the weekend, Senate Republicans voted to advance Trump's budget bill, setting up a final vote for early this week. And you're probably wondering, why pass a massive budget bill on a Saturday night? It's a great question. It's the same reason that the House passed their version of this bill in the middle of the night. It's that they're trying to literally hide what's inside the bill. This bill is 940 pages. Most of these senators haven't even had time to read what's inside it. In fact, as I'm shucking this corn, Democrats were able to force a reading of the bill by the parliamentarian, which is expected to take 16 hours to complete. Let's start with the cost. The Senate version of this bill totals $4.45 trillion. It's projected to add at least $4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. So where's all that money going? The centerpiece of this bill, surprise, surprise, is a massive tax cut. And I know you might be thinking, hey, that doesn't sound so bad, but 70% of the cuts in this $3.8 trillion bill go to the top 5% of earners, while the bottom 40% of this country collects about 4% of those total cuts. In other words, millionaires and billionaires are expected to get about $1 trillion worth of cuts from this bill, while working families are getting pennies. And even though most of the cost of this bill is just going to be added to the national debt, some of it is actually paid for by massive cuts to the social safety net, cuts that they don't want you to hear about. This bill represents the biggest cut to the American social safety net in decades, probably ever. More than 16 million people are expected to lose their health insurance thanks to this bill. That's thanks to massive cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. On top of that, this bill has a 20% cut to the SNAP program, which will leave 2 million people without food assistance. That's seniors, children, veterans, families living paycheck to paycheck. It's the largest cut to food assistance in US history. And it gets worse. The bill wipes out hundreds of billions of dollars in clean energy investments, expected to cut millions of jobs in manufacturing and construction. And all told, it's expected to increase electricity bills at home by 30%. You know who doesn't get any cuts? ICE. In fact, the bill throws billions more at immigration enforcement, turning ICE into the largest domestic law enforcement agency in the country and the largest jailer. This bill is a disaster, and Republicans know it. They're walking the plank here, voting for something wildly unpopular, because when Daddy Trump says jump, they jump. Here's the deal though, the final version of this bill hasn't passed yet, and there's still a few Republicans who are on the fence. So here's what you can do right now to stop this train wreck, or at least make them pay the political price. First, share this video. Most people have no idea that this bill exists, let alone what's inside it, and creators like me have had a really hard time breaking through on it. We need to change that. Second, call your members of Congress. It takes 2 minutes, and it doesn't matter whether they're Democrat or Republican. They need to hear from you. The number's on the screen. If this bill passes, millions will lose healthcare, food, jobs, while the rich get tax cuts. They're hoping you won't notice. Let's prove them wrong.